Bienvenidos a la clase de Español 2. Today is Chapter 10, Lesson 2, Q, which means it is our 10.2 quiz, and 10.3I, which means after the quiz we will introduce the beginning of Lesson 3 from Chapter 10. So let's go ahead and get started. You can go ahead and pause the video right here and let's get that quiz done, and then we will collect that and get that graded for you. So go ahead and pause the video and get that quiz done now. All right, I hope that quiz went well for you, and I'll get that graded and get that back to you as soon as I can so that you'll know how you did on that. Let's go ahead and move into Lesson 3 of Chapter 10, 10.3, and we'll just introduce some of the vocabulary and some of the items here as we move in and then get some homework assigned, and we'll be done with today's Spanish lesson. Let's go ahead and practice el versículo para esta lección, capítulo 10, lección 3, Juan 4:23. Let's go ahead and do the audio with this one for today, and then we'll work through it together.
Capítulo 10, versículo. Juan 4:34. Jesús les dijo, mi comida es que haga la voluntad del que me envió y que acabe su obra.
Repeat each phrase in the pause provided.
Juan 4:34. Jesús les dijo, mi comida es que haga la voluntad del que me envió y que acabe su obra.
Try to say each phrase before you hear it on the tape.
Juan 4:34. Jesús les dijo, mi comida es que haga la voluntad del que me envió y que acabe su obra.
Say the entire verse with the reference before and after.
Juan 4:34. Jesús les dijo, mi comida es que haga la voluntad del que me envió y que acabe su obra. Juan 4:34.
I hope you're working on that versículo. Make sure that you are able to write that verse for our upcoming test here at the end of 10.3. We'll have a test over that, and you need to be able to write that verse out. Let's move on and see if we can come up with some of the missing words, las palabras que nos faltan para este versículo. Número 1, ¿cuál palabra nos falta aquí, clase? La respuesta es voluntad, will, voluntad. Y aquí, ¿cuál palabra nos falta? La respuesta es acabe, to finish, acabe. Y aquí, ¿cuál es la respuesta? La respuesta es haga, do, haga. Y número 4, ¿cuál palabra nos falta aquí? La respuesta es les, them, les. Y aquí, ¿cuál palabra nos falta? La última respuesta es comida, meal, food, comida. And again, we've been studying Córdoba and Granada, and if you haven't taken time to look through the playlist and find the virtual field trip of the Mezquita there in Córdoba, Spain, I recommend that you take some time to do that. I think you'll find that to be very interesting. And let's go ahead and review our countries and capitals. Remember, you need to be able to locate these on a map. You need to know la bandera, the flag, as well as la capital. ¿Cuál es la capital de Cuba, clase? ¿Es La Habana? ¿De Panamá? ¿Panamá? ¿De Chile? ¿Santiago? ¿De Uruguay? Montevideo, sorry. Showed that one a little too soon there. Montevideo. ¿De Paraguay? Asunción, la capital de Guatemala, es Guatemala. La capital de Honduras, Tegucigalpa. La capital de El Salvador es San Salvador. La capital de Costa Rica, San Jose. And let's go ahead and listen. For this lesson, we've got las especialidades. The diálogo here is going to talk through some menu items, and that's going to be a lot of what we talk about in this lesson is typical food from different countries that speak Spanish. We're going to watch some videos, learn some things about the comida de países que hablan español. ¿Ok? Escuchen.
Capítulo 10, lección 3. Las especialidades. Parte 1. Diálogo.
Follow along on page 268 of the textbook.
Elena y Margarita, dos estudiantes latinoamericanas, acaban de llegar a España para estudiar algunos cursos de verano. Mientras leen el periódico, encuentran un anuncio muy interesante.
Restaurante La Españolita. Descubra la gastronomía española. Más de 50 especialidades de todas las regiones de España.
Elena y Margarita piden direcciones para ir al restaurante y descubren que está a 2 cuadras del apartamento en donde viven.
¡Qué bien! Si vamos un par de veces cada semana, podremos probar muchos platos diferentes.
Sugiero que no vayamos más de una vez por semana. Tenemos que ahorrar nuestro dinero.
Está bien. Vamos a ver cómo es el restaurante.
Sugiero que leamos el anuncio primero. Veamos las comidas que anuncian. Paella valenciana, cocido madrileño, caldo gallego, fabada asturiana, gazpacho manchego, gazpacho andaluz.
Oye, hagámonos amigas de los dueños y así podremos preguntar sobre cada plato.
No sueñes tanto, Elena. Sugiero que hablemos con uno de los camareros. Quizás nos deje leer el menú sin cobrarnos.
¡Qué graciosa! Comamos ahí mañana.
No, sugiero que comamos allí hoy.
That is just some of the conversation between two girls, Elena and Margarita, as they try to decide which meal they're going to have, the Spanish restaurant that they'll visit, and which meal they're going to order. We're going to talk a lot about several of those different meals. The vocabulario para esta lección for 10.3 en el libro está en página 269, 269 en el libro, el vocabulario, las especialidades culinarias. This is culinary specialties. You have several lists of foods. We've got them categorized here by country. So, and there is a lot of overlap. Some of these dishes that are categorized here as platos mexicanos might typically also be served in Puerto Rico, Cuba. So there's a lot of crossover. But as you know, each country probably does the dish just a little bit diferentemente than what another country might do it because they have their own local traditions. Availability of food and ingredients, of course, would vary from country to country. So these foods would take on a little bit different flavor, pun intended, from country to country. So for España, that's Spain, we have paella valenciana. This is a paella, which is really a big rice dish. And if you look at my playlist, I've got several of these recipes here added. So I would encourage you to go through and look at some of those. And maybe you want to even try some of those dishes as you go through and look at those. Some of those might be fun to try at home and to see how you like some of these dishes that are a little bit different from what we would typically eat here in America. Conejo frito con tomate, fried rabbit with tomato sauce. Gazpacho andaluz is a very tomatoey cold soup, a lot like a very loose salsa. Pollo al ajillo is garlic chicken, and many cultures, whether Spanish-speaking or not, have recipes for garlic chicken. In Mexico, we have chilaquiles. This is a type of casserole. It's got the fried corn tortillas, sauce with green or red tomatoes, peppers, sour cream, cheese. So it's very what we would almost think of as typical Mexican food, chilaquiles. Mole, and I've got a really cool video on my YouTube channel that you should watch about mole, and it's a savory chocolate sauce. And I know you think, wow, savory chocolate? Chocolate's supposed to be sweet. This is a very picante, a very spicy, mole is a very spicy chocolate sauce that's served over chicken, any meat, turkey, pork, it can be served. But every family, every mama would probably have a little bit different recipe for how she makes her mole, and it gets passed on from generation to generation. So very unique sauces, the common ingredient being, of course, that the mole de chocolate is in there. But it's not sweet. It's not hot fudge. Don't put it on your ice cream. Mole is a savory chocolate sauce. And then enchiladas in Mexico as well. These are what you would think of as an enchilada. This is a rolled up tortilla, and it's stuffed with seasoned chicken, shredded beef, and then there would be a hot chili sauce on top of it. In the Caribbean countries, El Caribe, plátano, plantain is a very popular vegetable. Now, the plantain, you guys have probably seen this at El Supermercado. This is it. It looks like a banana, pero es más grande. It's bigger than a banana. Y no es tan dulce como un banana, and it's not sweet like a banana. It's got more of a starchy, kind of a potato-y texture to it. And these are used ripe. They're used green. They're a very popular side dish in a lot of tropical countries. Where we live in Florida, many of our families make great use of plátano or plantain. But they make the foundation of a lot of platos de Puerto Rico, a lot of Puerto Rican dishes. They may deep fry them. They may bake them. There are a lot of different ways to do it, but plátano is a very popular ingredient for a lot of Caribbean foods. Arroz con pollo is chicken and rice. Of course, everybody's had chicken and rice. We eat this pretty commonly in just about every culture, but there is a unique way that each country would make their own arroz con pollo. Lechon asado would be the big pig that you would see on a spit, and it rotates and gets roasted, and everybody gets their own piece of pig off the spit there. Arroz blanco con frijoles negros is a very common side dish. This is just white rice with black beans, and then it's seasoned. Very common. We eat this a lot at my house, beans and rice, just white rice with black beans. In Nicaragua, we have nacatamales, which is a white cornmeal. I've got a really cool recipe on my YouTube channel for nacatamales. Very interesting. The lady speaks Spanish the whole time, but I think you'll enjoy following along as she makes these nacatamales. You can stuff it with seasoned pork, potatoes, anything. And it's wrapped in a plantain leaf and steamed, and then you would remove the plantain leaf before you eat the nacatamales. Carne asada is just a roasted meat, marinated beef steak, grilled over a charcoal fire, so it's got a really good crispy crust on the outside. It's served with rice and beans. Again, that fried plantain, plátano, that we see in many Spanish-speaking countries, and like a vinegar coleslaw or repollo with cabbage. And then a delicious dessert that's served in Nicaragua and a lot of Spanish-speaking countries is tres leches, and that's 3 milks. And those 3 milks that you would see in the dessert are typically like a sweetened condensed milk, an evaporated milk, and then a regular milk or even a heavy cream that you would see. But it gives it a very heavy dairy texture. It's a white spongy cake, and then it is just saturated with all of these sweet dairy milk products. Creams and milks, it's delicious. In Colombia, you would have arepa, and here's another cool video that I have on my channel for you. The arepa is a very thin, usually round, it's a flat cake that is loaded. The recipe I think I have for you is filled with cheese, and then it's fried almost like a pancake, but it's going to be a lot thicker than a pancake. And then, of course, when you break it open, it's just all the gooey cheese and the cake on the outside. So those are very popular in Colombia. Papas chorreadas, these are boiled potatoes, and they have a sauce. And the sauces would vary from region to region, but tomatoes, onions, cheese, cream, that sauce goes over the potatoes. I'm getting hungry just talking to you about some of these. Viuda de pescado is steamed fish with vegetables, potatoes, yuca. The yuca plant is that very starchy, heavy, almost has a little bit of a slimy texture to it, but it's very tasty. Argentina and Uruguay, then we would have churrasco, which is that very tenderloin steak, some of the most expensive cuts of steak that you would see, topped with a spicy garnish. The chimichurri sauce would be that spicy green sauce that you sometimes see on top of steak, really good. Asado is just a seasoned beef or lamb, and it's typically grilled over an open fire. And then I have a recipe for guiso on my YouTube channel that you can watch. This is just a beef stew. A lot of times it'll have noodles, rice, big chunks of potatoes and other vegetables, but it really is just a kind of a Uruguayan stew. It's like a beef stew. So lots of good food. I hope you'll take some time and watch through some of those recipe videos. I think it'll give you a really good sampling of some of the flavors and cultures that go into the cooking of several of these different countries. Now, one of the drink that I wanted to talk to you about is mate. And I know a lot of you have probably had mate, but I really hope you'll take a look at my YouTube channel and look at this video that I posted for how they would drink the authentic mate, really out of a gourd. And this is it's dried leaves of the yerba mate, which is the mate grass, and it's dried and it's broken up and it's put in, and it's just kind of like a tea, really. And they'll sip it all day through a bombilla, which is you can see the bombilla here in the picture, and then you'll see another example of it if you watch the video. But the bombilla is the straw that they would drink the mate through. But you'll notice at the end it's got that filter, so it kind of keeps all the leaves from getting up into the straw as they drink it. And they'll carry this around all day long around countries like Uruguay. They'll carry it around and have it all day long. So I hope you'll watch some of those videos. And that's kind of an introduction to 10.3, to the last lesson in chapter 10. So I hope you watch some of those videos. And again, as always, double check, make sure that you're looking at the homework assignment for today and get that done so that you're ready for our next lesson. That wraps it up for today. Que Dios les bendiga, clase. Adios.